there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring you the most accurate and most interesting information that we can.
Christian just took a literal 1d4 of piercing damage. I accidentally forgot that I had dropped a metal D4, which is a pyramid-shaped die. Very pointy. The pointiest one, I would say.
It's functionally a caltrop.
A what?
Caltrop.
What's that word? I've never heard that word before.
Caltrop.
What is that? What does that mean? I've never heard that word before.
Well, one is in Dungeons and Dragons, but second.
Sorry.
Basically, it's these little spikes you throw on the ground so that other people step on them and stab their feet.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I did that. That's exactly what happened. My trap worked. Mm-hmm. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You want to kiss it? Shut up. It's like the upgraded version of stepping on a Lego.
Yeah.
If you thought stepping on Legos was bad, try stepping on a metal, tiny metal pyramid.
Well, part of the problem with Legos is also the quantity of the Legos in our house.
That's true. It's never just one. It's never one Lego. If you found one Lego, it's like a tip of the iceberg problem. Yeah. You're like, oh no, if I found one, how many are there? It's like finding one rat.
One spider.
Oh no, it's beginning. Spider season is upon us.
Yeah.
This week, I would like to talk about fiddler crabs.
Okay.
How much do you know about fiddler crabs? Have you ever seen a fiddler crab before?
These are the beach crabs, right?
Yeah, many a beach crab are fiddler crabs.
They walk sideways.
As many crabs do.
One big claw.
One big claw is sort of the defining characteristic of the fiddler crab, that they have one, and specifically male fiddler crabs have one giant claw.
Big, meaty claw.
But just one of them. Not big, meaty claws, plural.
Okay.
That's important. It's just one. This species was submitted by Eleanor Bonnick. Thank you, Eleanor. And also Sky from our Discord. If anyone is unfamiliar with fiddler crabs, these are little guys. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get that big. They're only going to get up to about 2 inches across. So they're not huge crabs. They're typically found in muddy beaches and salt marshes and mangroves and stuff like that, mostly in warm parts of the world. Mm-hmm. There are over 100 species of fiddler crabs. Mm-hmm. So there are very many of them. And like I mentioned, they're found all over the world. So I'm going to kind of be taking a broad strokes view of fiddler crabs in general. So like some of the things I'll be talking about might apply to one species of fiddler crab, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm. So how neatly does the phrase fiddler crab fit in taxonomically?
It applies to like certain members of a family.
Okay.
But the defining characteristic is they have the one big claw. That's what makes it a fiddler crab.
Okay.
In the same family with them, they are related to ghost crabs, which we would see sometimes on the beaches in Florida. Those tiny little side-scuttling crabs that would hide in little holes on the beach. Like ghost crabs. And also mangrove crabs.
So the mangrove crabs aren't fiddler crabs?
Not always.
Oh.
There are even some mangrove crabs that even are more like arboreally adapted crabs who actually you'll find them like high up in the trees.
That's not where they go.
It doesn't seem like where crabs would go, but there are certain types of mangrove crabs that are just really slotted into living high up in the trees.
It's like finding my keys in the refrigerator.
How'd you get here? It'd be like that, but also if you like found your keys in the refrigerator and they somehow had some sort of like coating on them that was made to like repel like condensation. Like you found like weirdly it was built to be in the fridge for some reason, and you're like, that's weird. Why would they make it this way?
Huh. All right.
But that's mangrove crabs, which are not what I'm talking about. Today I want to talk about fiddler crabs.
Okay.
If this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, the first category that we rate animals on is effectiveness. These are things built into the animal's body that let them do a good job of the things that they're trying to do. I'm giving fiddler crabs an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Most of what I want to talk about here is the claw situation, because it is a unique trait of the fiddler crab, and it also is sort of paradoxical in nature. So like the claw both solves and introduces problems of its own. Some of them you could probably think of, right?
Sure.
What do you think a drawback would be of having
Probably
this big giant claw?
Increased mass, so
Yeah.
slower speed.
For sure.
More calorie requirements.
Yeah, definitely. And also, so since it's only the males that have this big giant claw, the females have two small, kind of normal, like foraging claws.
Oh.
So the females can actually feed twice as fast as the males.
Dang.
Because they have two functional foraging claws. But the males have just ruined one of their claws, so they can't feed with it.
Dang.
So they're despite having this big giant thing that they need more calories to wave around, they're also much more limited in the amount of food they can take in.
Healthy masculinity would fix this.
It would fix this.
Just find another bro.
Anything but therapy.
Find another bro crab.
Uh-huh.
You can feed each other.
That's so smart. You know that, have you ever done that, giant chopsticks exercise?
No.
Maybe this was a summer camp thing. I don't remember what the context was, but I was somewhere where we did this group game activity where, everyone had a bowl of, it was pretend, these weren't real, but you had a bowl of noodles or something like that, and the task was to have everyone take a bite of noodles, but everyone had chopsticks that were 6 feet long.
Oh, okay.
And so the chopsticks were way too long for you to be able to actually eat the noodles out of the bowl yourself. Basically the solution was that everyone had to feed someone else with their giant chopsticks. Yeah, fiddler crabs could be doing this. If they would all just get along. The comically enlarged claw can be up to half of a male fiddler crab's body weight.
Wow.
And the claw is so big for both intimidating and fighting off other males, and also for impressing the females, because the females prefer a large claw. So the bigger the claw, the more likely a female is to mate with that male. But also the males are fighting each other with it. And also a lot of times they don't even get to the fighting stage because the males are able to just size each other up. They'd be look, I can tell that your claw is bigger than mine. We're probably, if I fight you, I'm probably going to lose. And they usually just don't even fight at that point. They'll pick their battles a little bit.
We saw this with beetles.
Yeah, a lot of animals will do this because it is much, much, much less risky to just size each other up and then make that sort of cost benefit analysis of if I pick this fight, I could injure myself or die. So it's a lot easier to have a visible signal of who's going to win this fight. So the claw is strong enough to pierce through the shell of a competitor and crush them. But they almost never do. They usually just kind of bluff or they'll display to each other and usually sort it out there. So the claws are really, really much more serving as a signal, both to females and to rival males. I could crush another dude if I wanted to.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it, but I could, As I mentioned, the females strongly prefer the males with the bigger claws. So the males will demonstrate how much bigger their claw is than any other male in the area by waving it above their head. You may have seen videos of fiddler crabs doing this. It's kind of like a come here kind of gesture to make it very obvious. Hey, look how big my claw is. Look how much bigger it is than all the other males.
Yeah.
So this sort of dual purpose of both fighting and displaying actually introduces a sort of paradox of needs. Because on the one hand, the claw needs to be bulky and powerful and muscular enough to actually put up a fight, right? It needs to be strong, but the stronger it is, the heavier it's going to be and the harder it's going to be to wave it above your head for a long time. True. Because they keep this waving motion up for a really long time. They'll do a slow wave when there's no visible females nearby, but then once they see a female nearby, they'll speed up. Wow. They turn into this active, more but they kind of keep it waving all the time. So if it's too muscular, if it's too strong, it's going to actually be a lot harder to wave. Yeah. So the mechanics of the claw have to fall in this sweet spot of being strong enough that they could crush a competitor, but not so muscular that it's going to be unwieldy and difficult to wave. And also this researcher named John Christie points out that the longer and more visually impressive claws introduce a sort of chopstick-like problem, where if you imagine using chopsticks that are really, really, really long versus chopsticks that are shorter, the force that is being applied at the ends of the chopsticks is getting weaker and weaker the longer the chopsticks are. So in a study where they watched fiddler crabs fight, he found that they tended to grab each other, not with the tips of the claws, but actually with like, there's these ridged little teeth right where the hinge is of the claw. Like if you look at your hand and you imagine that like your thumb is like the bottom part of the claw, it's like right in that little crook where your thumb meets the rest of your hand. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm quite familiar with this part of crab anatomy.
And why is that, Christian?
Because I love crab legs.
Is it when you eat crab legs, is it like the pinching claw?
That's one of them. That's the best one.
That's the best one?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got the most meat.
Are fiddler crabs typically on the menu? No. Yeah.
Not for humans, at least.
Oh, well.
I was thinking, though, this would make a good way for like a seagull to spot some really tasty snack options.
Good idea. Well, one of the things that actually Sky mentioned in their email to me was that fiddler crabs can actually see the polarization of light. So they have compound eyes that are on the ends of these little stalks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think like Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob, you know how his eyes are on these like long stalks with like, so in fiddler crabs, they have eyes like that. It's not like the whole stalk is their eye like Mr. Krabs is for some reason. Theirs is like a compound eye at the end of the stalks. But Sky mentioned that fiddler crabs can actually detect like the changes of light polarization, which means that actually like birds flying overhead aren't camouflaged by like the sunlight behind them.
Oh.
Like they can actually detect the change in like polarization of the light. Or like they can see birds flying over them really, really well.
Huh.
I didn't look too far into that because that gets into like light physics, which I am not qualified to discuss. The claw could also be acting as a heat sink for fiddler crabs because they do tend to live in warm places. So the idea is that like that big claw is basically drawing a lot of heat away from the core of the body. And then when they wave it, it's cooling it off, right? So it's basically giving them somewhere to dump all of their heat into that's not close to the parts of their body that would kill them if they overheated. I don't know if that's like a huge driving factor in the size of the claw. Definitely the size of the claw is more driven by like mate selection and competition with other males. Because the females, like when a female fiddler crab sees a big claw, she's for sure going for that one. She's going to go for the biggest claw. Now, there's another thing that I want to talk about for fiddler crab effectiveness, which is not exclusive to fiddler crabs, but it definitely helps. And that is that when they molt, right? So when they're basically like shedding their external layer, right, of their exoskeleton and developing a new one that's going to harden in its place. This is how they grow. This is how they get bigger. It's not like the human body, which has, soft parts on the outside. So your skin just grows with you. Whereas for arthropods, things that have exoskeletons, it's rigid and it's hard, which means that if your body is going to get bigger, the exoskeleton can't grow with you. So they have to basically shed it and grow a new one. And when crabs do this, not only can they grow a new exoskeleton, but they can grow back parts of their body that they've lost. So if a fiddler crab gets their claw yanked off in a fight with another fiddler crab, which happens all the time, but they lose their, they lose their claw, they lose their legs, whatever. They lose parts of their body. They can just grow it right back when they molt. So it's basically, it's like taking a long rest to like get your HP and your spell slots and everything like that back. It's like you get to like basically reset. Like you get to like respawn.
Yeah. Though my understanding is for like a whole limb like that, it can take several molts.
Would make sense.
To fully regrow the claw.
It would make sense. Is that a mechanic for like infinitely harvesting crab legs? I wonder, like
probably not. No.
How nightmarish. Well, you're usually eating the whole crab when you eat crab, right?
No, it goes to the what I guess would be anatomically their hip.
Oh, okay.
Like the analog of their hip.
I'm just thinking if we had chickens, if we bioengineered chickens that like could continually replenish their wings.
Sure.
Wouldn't we be using that?
If and only if that's cheaper.
That's true. It might be just cheaper to make a whole new crab at that point.
This reminded me that I was recently reminded of what soft shell crabs are. So in restaurants, you often see on the menu soft shell crab.
Is that like a soft shell turtle or something like that?
No.
Oh, it's different.
These are crabs that were harvested shortly after a molting.
Oh, you may have told me that before.
I think we have talked about it, and I was recently reminded about it.
My bad.
No, I thought it was interesting.
I also would have thought that was just like a particular type of crab that has a softer shell.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that was just like, at what point in their molt cycle?
I don't think I've ever ordered crabs like that, just because that's not something I was ever taught how to eat. So like I would have to figure it out myself.
Yeah. I've never eaten crab, but that's for a lack of interest. I'm not interested in eating crabs, but it looks satisfying. Thinking about, crab anatomy and crab physical adaptations and stuff. You've heard of carcinization,
yes,
right? So carcinization is this idea in evolution of the tendency of things to evolve towards a crab-like shape, meaning the sort of core format of a crab being this sort of squat, rounded structure with a bunch of legs coming off of the sides, basically. So the concept of carcinization means that like that general body plan keeps happening in unrelated groups of animals. Like they just have a tendency towards this particular shape. It keeps showing up again and again, even in things that had ancestors that looked nothing like each other. Like it's the arc of history bends towards crab sort of thing. And this kind of has become in recent years like a meme that like we're all going to become crabs, that like every branch of the animal kingdom will all eventually like evolve towards a crab-like shape. That like the idea that the crab is like the ultimate, the pinnacle of life form, that like we will all eventually become crabs. That's the ultimate life form sort of idea, which is fun. To be clear about what, like, how carcinization kind of works, it is specific to crustaceans. So, like, carcinization only happens within the crustacean family. You actually don't see that happen outside of crustaceans. So, like, it is specific to crustacean anatomy. Like, there's just something about the way that crustacean anatomy works, like the way their respiratory system works and their circulatory system. Like, the crab shape is what works really well for many types of crustaceans. That's not to say that would work for any type of animal, right? Like, the best way I could explain it is, like, video game controllers. Like, think of like when video games first started coming out, when you had like the rectangular sort of Nintendo controller, you had like the joystick style like Atari controller, or then later on you get things like the Nintendo 64 controller that is really weird, has this weird lobe in the middle for some reason, the Palm Destroyer one, right? And things like the Wiimote, right? Like early on when video games were first starting to come out, you saw video game controllers in all sorts of crazy shapes. And like they were trying everything for like, what is the best video game controller? What is the most comfortable to use? What's the most responsive? And like over time, gradually, all of the video game controllers start to look the same. All of the video game controllers, you look at like Xbox, you look at the PlayStation controllers, and you look at like the Nintendo controllers, even though they all started in very different places, they all converged into now, like for any of them, for the Switch, for the PlayStation, for the Xbox, for whatever it is, the controllers are going to look nearly indistinguishable from each other. Like, it is annoying in our house how many controllers we have for so many different platforms, and they all look completely the same.
Yeah.
But that is because that is the shape that works best for the functions of a video game controller. You don't see other pieces of technology also having the same shape, right? True. Our phones don't look like that. Our computer mice don't look like that. That is just the shape that works best for like having both hands playing a video, like inputting buttons and playing a video game.
Yeah.
That shape works really well for that specific purpose and no other purpose. So that's why you don't see other pieces of technology looking like video game controllers, even though all of the video game controllers now look like that.
Right.
That's the best analogy I can think of for carcinization. Like, all of the crustaceans keep looking like crabs, but that doesn't mean mammals are going to start looking like crabs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
As much as I yearn for the crab, as great as that would be, I don't think it is our destiny.
Yeah. We're good here.
I'm okay with not being crab.
So related to the claw, do they favor left or right?
I did actually come across this a little bit. In most species of fiddler crab, there's roughly an even split between right-clawed and left-clawed.
Okay.
Where, like, you know, some of them will have the bigger claw will be on the right and some of them will be on the left. I think some species will, like, have a different ratio of, like, how many of them have it on the right and how many of them have it on the left. I did actually find a paper addressing, the title of it is, On the Other Hand, the Myth of Fiddler Crab Claw Reversal. So apparently there's this piece of misinformation that's been going around a lot, like it's all over the internet, that says that if a fiddler crab loses a claw, then when they molt, their smaller claw will grow to become the bigger claw. And then the new one that grows in will just be smaller. So basically, they'll flip. If their bigger claw was on the right before, then when they regrow it, the bigger claw will be on the left. And the one on the right will just grow to be a smaller claw.
Interesting.
And this whole paper was basically dedicated to being like, that's not true. This does not happen. They just grow a new big claw and it's fine. Which is actually important to a point that I'm going to make in Ingenuity later. But it was one of those moments where, like, do you ever, like, accidentally stumble upon, like, discourse from an incredibly niche community? And you're like, I did not know this was something people both had opinions about and apparently were mad about. Like, you ever come across, like, incredibly niche discourse and you're like, I did not know that people were mad about this? Because this paper was very much like, this is a very common myth, a very common misconception. I was I'm hearing about it now for the first time. Like, you correcting it is the first time I've ever heard this.
I can see where the line of thought's coming from, though, because like we mentioned, like, it would take multiple molts to regrow a limb like that. But a limb that is already halfway there would take fewer to get to that point.
You might as well just grow that one a little bit and, like, grow a new small one. It does seem like it would make sense that way, but apparently that is not how it shakes out. They do just grow a new big claw.
Imagine mutations where both claws turn into large claws get weeded out pretty quickly.
You'd die. You'd be dead. Yeah. You can't eat. You're done for. Like, I'm sure it probably has happened. Yeah. Like, as, like, a weird one-off thing, and it would be really bad. Yeah. A body horror for crabs.
Great for food, though.
That's what I'm saying. If it was cost effective to just
teach the crabs to be homies.
We need some sort of community building. Like, we need some, like, restorative healing the relationships between. We need third spaces. We need increased cultural cohesion, community cohesion between the crabs. Better together. Let's take a quick break to hear from a couple of our friends on the Maximum Fun Network, and then we'll talk about ingenuity and aesthetics and conservation stuff for fiddler crabs.
Sunscreen companies calculate SPF by testing it on volunteers' butts.
There is a can of Spam in the Mariana Trench.
A Nobel Prize-winning physicist from the Manhattan Project invented modern speed bumps.
Mesoamerican native people invented kidney medicine that glows in the dark.
On the podcast Secretly Incredibly Fascinating, we explore this kind of amazing stuff.
Stuff about ordinary topics like sunscreen and Spam and speed bumps.
Topics you'd never expect to be the title of the podcast, Secretly Incredibly Fascinating.
Find us by searching for the word secretly in your podcast app.
And at MaximumFun.org.
If you like too many podcasts, you'll love Soundheap with John Luke Roberts. It's got clips from all your favourite podcasts, such as Diary of a Tiny CEO.
Leonard Sprague, tell me how you make your money.
I go to the beach and I steal people's towels.
Remember Armour.
Do you remember the trend of everyone whacking themselves on the head with hammers and mallets when they wanted to lose weight?
And Elty John's Lobberly Songs.
I'm here today with Kiki D. Hello, Kiki D.
Hello, Elton.
There's dozens of episodes to catch up on, and brand new episodes going out right now. So if you want far, far, far too many podcasts, then look for Soundheap on Maximum Fun. Boop boop.
The next category that we rate animals on is ingenuity. These are behaviors, things the animal is doing to navigate their world and solve problems that they face. Now, I am giving fiddler crabs a 9 out of 10.
That's surprising.
I was very surprised by how sophisticated some of their behaviors and some of their social life is, like, surprisingly complex. Is he body slamming the door?
He might be.
That's crazy. The cat is trying to like battering ram the door down.
He's very needy.
Yeah, he's a lot. So male fiddler crabs will build burrows. They'll dig burrows into the sand, which they can use for shelter. They can use for storing water so that like during the day when the tide's gone out, they'll have a little, reservoir of water that they can... Oh my God. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The cat is full on going The Shining. Like he's stuffing his filthy little toes under the door and trying to claw his way in. I've never seen him this like...
Just let me in.
I've never seen him this desperate to get in here. That's crazy. There's nothing in here.
It's a cozy blanket.
That's true. He wants the blanket. That's probably what it is. Oh, wait. Maybe if I put the blanket out in the hallway, maybe he'll... Is this what you want? This is legitimately like horror movie material. His claws just like scraping up underneath the door.
Silly cat.
Freak. So the males will build this burrow, and a lot of times they'll also build an external structure on top of the burrow. So they might build something like a sand pillar or like a little hood over the entrance or something like that, which works as either actual shelter, like it might be protecting the entrance of the burrow, or just as a reminder, like a landmark of like, this is where my burrow is, or as a demonstration of like, look how good I can build stuff. Hey girl, I built this. Check it out. Check out the hood over my burrow. The females will actually like be more likely to approach the burrows of males that have more impressive structures outside.
So the Minecraft approach.
I was also thinking this too. It does remind me a lot of like if you're the type of Minecraft player who like digs stuff like into the side of a cliff or like into the ground or something like that, you're very likely to just lose all your stuff and forget where you put it. So you got to put like you got to build a little something over it.
Yeah.
Like as a little landmark to remember where you left all your stuff.
Yep.
The social lives of fiddler crabs are what was really surprising to me by how complex they were. Not just between like males and females, that is also very interesting, but also just like between neighboring fiddler crabs. So like in an area, there will be tons and tons of fiddler crab burrows all close to each other. And they kind of establish this like neighborhood that has like a hierarchy, which is very interesting to me. So first of all, like I mentioned earlier, when the female fiddler crab is walking through a sort of crowd of males, the males are trying to get the female's attention this entire time. They'll be waving their claw in the air just idly. They see a female, and all of the males in a little given area, maybe it's like a few feet radius around the female, they will all run up to her and start waving in front of her. And like they're trying to like keep up with her basically. Like they're trying to wave her down as she's walking past. And then once they get too far away, if she hasn't come to their burrow, they just give up and they go back to their own burrow. A lot of times when they're doing this, the males that have gathered around a passing female, they often end up falling into synchronization with each other. So they end up like doing the wave. They're like synchronized, like waving at the exact same time. Which is funny to look at because like it look like they're doing a dance routine, like a choreographed little like, it's like the boy band effect almost of like they're all like waving in sync with each other.
Yeah, I've never attempted a flash mob to try and get at someone's attention.
Well, so here's the problem. She has a bias towards things that are like different.
Oh.
So once they're all synced up with each other, she's less likely to pick a male that's like synced up with the others. So what's going on here is that the females tend to prefer the one who is leading the wave. Like she has a preference for the first one to wave or the one that is waving faster than the others.
Oh.
So all of these males are trying to be the first one to wave, and they all just end up doing it at the same time and like sort of syncing up by accident. But if there's one that like goes faster than the others, or if there is one who is waving opposite to the others, so like if they're all going left, right, but there's one that's going right, left, she'll go to that one.
Interesting.
Because like it's different. It catches the eye more. A lot of papers on this describe the females having something called a sensory bias, which is basically like what types of behaviors are her actual senses more likely to pick up. The fiddler crabs have these compound eyes that are really, really good at picking up movement. not great at picking up detail, like not very good at seeing tiny little details of things, but really good at capturing movement. So if you are the first thing moving, she's going to notice that. Or if your movement is different from the others, she's going to notice that.
Okay.
But then everyone's trying to be different. Like everyone's trying to get her attention. They all end up doing the exact same thing. So they all just kind of end up syncing up with each other.
This whole situation sounds like my personal prison.
What, where you have to like spontaneously join a boy band?
No. Just make this kind of discordant energy to have any hope to like.
I know, like you really have to like, it's such like, I don't know, theater kid audition day like energy. You know what I mean? Like everyone's trying so hard to like set themselves apart and be different.
Like all of you clap, but not together.
Yes, I was thinking about this because I was like, it would be way more difficult to unsync yourself with a group than to sync up with a group, you know? Or like if a whole group is already like clapping on the 2 and 4 and you're trying to clap on the 1 and 3, like it's way harder to do. A quote from the paper that I found was interesting said, females are not preferentially attracted to synchronously waving males, but they have a strong preference for leading wavers. This again suggests that synchrony is an incidental byproduct of males competing to lead rather than being a cooperative behavior from which all members of a synchronous group of males benefit. So there was like a lot of discussion as to whether them all syncing up together was like an adaptation to something. Because sometimes animals will behave in sync with each other because they're trying to like confuse a predator or like create an illusion of size or something like that. And it seems like this is purely like they're all competing with each other to be the first. So like they just accidentally sync up. It's like when like 20 people leave the first comment on like a YouTube video or something.
Sure.
That is a funny idea to me. The idea that they're all trying to be first and they all just end up like looking like windshield wipers, basically. So scientists wanted to investigate what female fiddler crabs like in the waving behavior. What are they attracted to? Like, what do they find interesting in waving behavior? So they built a robot.
Oh, okay.
But the robot is just the claw. So it's just a claw of a fiddler crab on a motorized arm that just waves back and forth. Not the rest of the crab. It's just the arm, but it's on a little motorized lever that like swings back and forth in a way that mimics the crab waving. So I guess even those jobs aren't safe from AI.
Dang it.
They're coming for the crabs too. I'm sorry. So they found that when the robot claw waved faster than nearby males, the female picked the robot. So she likes a faster wave. And a 2018 study showed that the females also preferred acceleration. So like if when she first sees a male waving, he's like going kind of fast, but like not as fast as she would like, but then speeds up, she'll be more likely to pick him than if he had just been going that fast the whole time. So like even if they all end up going the same speed, she's more likely to pick the one that started off slower and got faster rather than the one that was going fast the whole time. And it seemed to be because that seems to imply an energy expenditure that like if they're going the same speed or if they're decelerating, if they're slowing down, that seems to imply fatigue. Like they're getting tired. They don't have the energy to spend on waving faster. But like if they accelerate, that means they have a lot of energy to spare and they can even, you know, increase their rate of waving. So it seemed like they were actually keeping that in mind. Like it wasn't just about the actual speed, it was about the trend. Like if they were getting faster, she liked that. Which was interesting. That was interesting to me that made a difference.
Part of me feels like they built a robot just to mog on the crabs.
It was MogBot 2000. How are the crabs going to compete with that? There's nothing they can do. Claw maxing.
Unrealistic standards.
It is an unrealistic beauty standard. So another thing that is interesting about the females, When females need to cross like a mud flat or a beach or somewhere where there's going to be a lot of males in between where she's trying to go, the females may act receptive even when they're not. So while she's crossing this area with lots of male burrows, rather than just going point A to point B, she might stop and like act like she's checking the males out. Go to their burrow, put a couple feet in the burrow, inspect, like act like she's gonna mate with them, and then keep going. And the idea is that the burrows themselves are very valuable resources. So say you're a little fiddler crab trying to cross the beach. If a seagull comes by or something comes by that's trying to eat you, you need to hide quick. Like you need somewhere where you can go. Or if the tide's going out, you're starting to get too hot, like you need somewhere where you can cool off, or you need access to a little pool of water or something. Those burrows are very, very valuable. So if the female is acting like she's receptive, she might be looking for a mate. The males will let her into the burrow. And then she's got access to that like really valuable shelter and really valuable water resource. So it's in her best interest for the males to think that she's trying to mate with them, because then they'll let her into the burrow. So she will like act like she's shopping around, even though she's not. She's just trying to like go to the store or something like that. She's just like on her way to work, but she'll like act like she's trying to find a mate.
Hey, gentlemen listening. Don't extrapolate this.
No.
Beyond crabs.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing here because the females are not the only deceptive ones. The females are not the only ones who are bluffing. Before I get to that, I want to read a quote from the paper I got this from. They say, "The most important resource a fiddler crab can have is a burrow. It is the only source of water at low tide. It acts as a heat sink and shelter from predators and the high tide. If a crab does not own a burrow when the tide comes in, it will almost certainly die. The benefits of having access to a burrow may favor females that exhibit the same responses to male courtship, whether or not they are seeking mates. In this way, non-receptive females may deceive males into allowing them to approach and enter their burrows as males do for receptive females." So, as I mentioned, females are not the only ones that have tricks up their sleeve. So I mentioned earlier that when a male fiddler crab, like if he loses a fight or gets injured, gets attacked by a predator or something, he may often lose his big fighting claw, but then he can regrow it, right? But there's a problem because the regrown claw is not the same as the first one. It looks the same. It's roughly the same size, but it doesn't have the same like density or muscle structure. It's basically like a cheap knockoff of the first claw. It's a lot lighter. It's usually a lot slimmer. It doesn't have the same rigid teeth on the inside as the original claw does. It is much weaker. It is not as good for fighting, but it's roughly the same size. So male fiddler crabs who have regrown a claw basically have to just bluff with the new claw and pretend that like they never lost a claw in the first place, because they can't, as I mentioned earlier, they don't have great like detailed vision. They can't see details very well. They can't tell the difference. They can't look at a claw and know that it's one of these cheap Temu sort of like that is basically made of like cosplay foam, you know, like they can't tell. So they have to just bluff. Whereas if they were actually attacked, if like a challenger actually fought them, they would definitely lose because the claw is very weak. They have to just act like nothing happened, basically. A researcher named Dr. Simone Lelvaux said to Science Daily, quote, "They're not good fighters, but the deceptive appearance of their claw allows them to convince other males that it's not worth picking a fight with them. The only time it doesn't work is when regenerated males hold territories, which means they can't go around choosing their opponents. They have to fight everyone who challenges them, and eventually someone will come along and expose the bluff."
Dang.
So once you're like the gym leader, basically, like now you have to fight everyone who comes up to you. You can't say no. Whereas when you don't have your own territory, you can kind of wander and like pick your battles, basically. But if you're established, then someone's going to come try you. And if it's a bluff, that's going to get exposed.
Well,
you remember that SpongeBob episode about anchor arms?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Well, I was wondering if there's any time like where a crab wins a fight, but then uses the opponent's severed claw to like wave around.
Oh, it's like just emoting on him.
Yeah.
Insult to injury. Well, that would be great because then now it makes your claw look twice as big.
There you go.
If there's any crabs listening looking for some dating advice, boy, you want to be different from the other crabs. Here's an idea for you.
I'm a crab coach.
There's like alpha male dating shows. Where they're like, you gotta neg the girls. No, pick up his claw, wave it around over your head. One time when I was a kid, I was like on a field trip somewhere where we were on a beach. And at some point I found like a crab claw in the sand and I thought it was so cool. And I picked it up and I put it in my backpack in like a zippered pouch in my backpack. It was literally like the claw of a dead crab that I just picked up off the ground. It was pretty big too. And then I forgot about it. And it was in my backpack for like 6 months. Like I forgot that zippered pouch existed. And then like a few months later I was like, why does this backpack smell so weird? It's because of the crab claw in there.
Dang. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. One last thing I want to talk about for Fiddler Crab ingenuity is, we've talked about some of the intricacies between males and females, but in many cases, they do show a surprising degree of sort of like neighborhood solidarity.
Oh.
Say you were a fiddler crab with a burrow among many other fiddler crabs, and a new guy shows up who's like a little bit bigger than you, and he's like squaring up. He's pulling up to your house, like he's trying to fight. He's ready to go. He's bigger than you. He's gonna win. Now, who shows up? Your next door neighbor, who's even bigger than that guy. He joins the fight, takes it over from you, basically. Like, takes over this fight. That is now your neighbor's fight, beats up the new guy, and kicks him out. So, a lot of times, fiddler crabs will do this sort of, like, internal math, basically. If an intruder is bigger than their neighbor, so he's gonna win the fight, but they are bigger than the intruder, they will help. They will like go help their neighbor and go take over the fight and kick out the intruder if they can beat him. If the intruder is bigger than both of them, then the neighbor's like, sorry, thoughts and prayers. That is a you problem, I'm afraid. He will not help if he's not going to win the fight. But if he can win the fight, then he's going to jump in and help. And there was a paper kind of investigating this. Like at first, this looks like, oh, wow, that's so cool that they're like, standing up for their established neighbor. Like they're not letting this intruder come take over. But in this 2011 study, they suggested that the crabs don't actually recognize their neighbors. They don't seem to actually be able to differentiate individual crabs. They don't seem to understand which one is their neighbor who's been there for a long time, other than like logical. If the same crab has been there all day and you have no reason to think that crab would have left. They could reasonably guess that like that's their neighbor. But if you were to like put them in a different context, they don't seem to like differentiate crabs between each other. So it doesn't seem like it's a familiarity thing. It just seems like they're incentivized to keep small neighbors. Because the bigger you are than your neighbors, the easier it is to like stand out to females, right? So they have an incentive to make sure that the other crabs around them are much smaller than them. So if their neighbor is much smaller, and then here comes an intruder who's maybe a little closer to your own size, it's in your best interest to make sure that intruder does not set up shop right next to you. Because then he has a better chance at like upstaging you.
Right. Or catching up or something.
Yeah, like, growing more and then catching up to you or something like that. Yeah. Like, it is in the crab's best interest to make sure that all the crabs around them are much smaller than them. So if they see an intruder coming in, they're like, this won't fly. No thank you. Like, better to get him now when he's not yet, like, established in the area, right? Like, so they're kind of trying to just keep everyone around them really small. So they end up, like, kind of establishing this, like, neighborhood hierarchy of, like, because there is no possibility for the smaller crab to then later reciprocally take over a fight for the bigger one, right? There's no possibility of reciprocal. It's not a cooperative thing.
Right.
It's not a paying it forward situation. There's nothing the smaller crab can do for you.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, I would rather my neighbors be a lot smaller than me. So
interesting.
Yeah. So the last category that we rate animals on is aesthetics. It's just how nice this animal is to look at. I'm going to give them like an 8 out of 10. I think they're really, really cute. I think fiddler crabs are super cute. I love crabs that have an eye stalk. The eye stalks make a crab like a million times cuter to me.
You like a pronounced stalk.
A pronounced stalk is what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very cute. I think it makes them adorable, almost gives them a snail-like face.
Right, yeah.
I found a really great illustration of a fiddler crab on the Wikipedia page for non-orientable wormholes.
What does that mean?
So this is an illustration of a Mobius strip of a non-orientable like shape.
Oh, wormhole as in, I see. Okay.
Yes. So this is apparently fiddler crabs are often used as illustrations of how a Mobius strip works. Because you can tell, because of the asymmetry of the fiddler crab, you can tell that like when they start, if you have a fiddler crab travel the entire sort of like length of a Mobius strip, you can tell that the claw is on the right when they start, but when they come back to the same point, the claw is on the left. You can tell that they've flipped over. Which I was like, okay, I didn't think that like Mobius strips and wormholes were gonna show up in my fiddler crab notes. That's weird, but okay. It's just because they're like an obviously asymmetrical thing, so it's immediately obvious like which way they're facing.
Yeah.
This is where we usually talk about conservation stuff. Obviously, this is like over 100 different species of fiddler crab, so I don't have any specifics on like whether they're endangered or not. But I did find a very interesting study from 2025 showing that fiddler crabs accumulated tons of microplastics from the sediment around them.
Man.
Because they're like, a lot of times they're just shoveling sort of sand into their mouth and then letting their stomach sort it out. But they were actually able to break those plastics down with the grinding plates in their digestive system. So with a lot of crustaceans, as soon as things goes into their body, there's like bony plates inside that are kind of grinding and crushing things up. And that's kind of how they digest materials. So on the one hand, this is partially really good news because plastics usually take decades or centuries to break down like that. But on the other hand, this is really bad news because that means that the fiddler crabs are taking these microplastics and breaking them down into nanoplastics, which are even harder to keep track of or to measure or to clean up. And they basically just infiltrate the food chain a lot more at that tiny. They're so much tinier. They become these like little microscopic flecks that then get accumulated in the food chain almost worse than the microplastics in the first place. Yeah. So the fiddler crabs are basically just taking the problems and just grinding them down into like way more problems.
Right. Huh.
I kind of had a hard time knowing where to like land on my takeaway from that. Cause like on the one hand, they're breaking down plastics. Cool. That's what we want. Like we want plastics to get broken down. But on the other hand, it's like, oh no, the plastics are broken down.
I guess it becomes a question like what was better for it to stay that size or to...
I don't know. It does seem like they are very good at breaking down those plastics. It's just like, oh no, now there is a lot of them.
Yeah.
Interesting role that fiddler crabs can play in the sort of, I guess, future of climate concerns and like environmental problems. So
yeah, maybe.
I guess we could see where that goes. And that's fiddler crabs. That's all I had to say about those.
Well, thanks, babe.
I had a lot of fun learning about them. They're very interesting little critters. I love crabs. I love little guys. I used to have pet hermit crabs, and I really enjoyed them. They're real cute little critters. I love a crab. I feel like we don't talk about crabs a ton on this show, so it's nice to get to talk about them.
Yeah.
If you had a good time and want to leave behind some kind words for us, we would love it if you left behind some nice words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. Moo Raw Fish, who writes on Apple Podcasts, undeniably best podcast ever. I just looked over and you're holding a sword. You weren't.
I found Finley's pirate sword.
You were not holding a pirate sword when I looked away, and I looked away for like 10 seconds, and when I looked back, you were holding a sword.
I'm a pirate now, sorry.
How did you arm yourself in a few minutes? where I haven't quite been listening from the start, but over the past 3 to 4 years, I've listened to every episode at least a solid 4 times. I absolutely love the Ellen Christian dynamic, but we really need more Christian in the mix.
Oh,
They say, I feel like his light isn't shining as bright as it used to, so maybe you can come back to do a fun something.
Something.
Well, our D&D thing. You're going to be DMing a D&D thing.
That's true.
And they go on to say, overall, keep posting till you drop, please.
That's for you, yeah.
It's for us. It's for both of us.
Oh, like posting the... Okay, I see.
Yes, like posting the podcast that we make that we're doing right now.
I thought they meant just general posting.
I haven't been posting as much. I have app blockers on my phone.
It's infinitely more than me.
It is.
An undefined amount.
An undefined amount of more than you. Other than your famous retweet.
Nope.
I have an app blocker on my phone that keeps me from scrolling all day like I used to. So that's why I've been backing off on social media, which is better for me, I think. But if you do want to come see the posts that we make online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Discord, very active on Discord. Come hang out with us. Also, if you want to check out the other shows on the Maximum Fun Network, plus learn how you can be a part of supporting our show and get access to our exclusive monthly bonus episodes over at MaximumFun.org. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music, which is really nice, lovely, and delightful. Very happy to hear it all the time. Also, go check out Louis Zong's other stuff. Louis Zong has a lot of like music and art and very cool stuff to check out. So thank you, Louis Zong, for our music. And thank you, listener, for hanging out with us and learning about fiddler crabs with us.
Thanks, y'all.
Keep on
Fiddling.
And thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
I love you.
Bye.
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 Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.